Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review of quite possibly the gayest action figure I've ever reviewed on this channel. And if you got a problem with that, you got another thing coming. I'll show myself out, because today we're going to be taking a look at the Music Maniacs Rob Halford from Judas Priest, brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. And yes, if you didn't know that, in case you've been living under a rock, Rob Halford is gay. I mean, just look at him. No straight man wears this much leather and studs and is into chicks. At least I don't think. I could be wrong. Been wrong before, many times, on this very channel. However, in this case, since I know who this is, and better yet, if you have the Super 7 Rob Halford figure, you know, the Biker Daddy reaction Rob Halford figure, yeah, you pretty much get the picture of what this guy's into, which is fine, you know. Everyone's entitled to live their lives in the way they choose. So, with that being said, before I get too woke for you guys and lose half of you, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Rob Halford has to offer in terms of accessories, starting off with the collectible trading card. Picture of him on the front there, and there's a bio on the back. That said, his only other accessory, much like the other ones, he's got a mic, which kind of sucks. You can't take the microphone off. However, I do have the Super 7 Ghost Ultimate microphones that are separate pieces, and I don't actually display them with my Ghost figures, the Papa Emerituses. So what I might do is steal one of theirs and give it to him. We'll see. Maybe someday, but taking him off the stand, which it sucks that this stand is not a motorcycle. I think that's a little missed opportunity. But here he is. The second Rob Halford action figure in existence, if we're not counting statues. And boy oh boy does he have studs on him. All over this jacket. Which is kind of cool that they did this look, but I almost would have rather have gotten a shorter jacket so I could put him on a motorcycle. Because I don't know if I can. Well. This does bend up quite a bit, so maybe you could. If the bike was thin enough, you could probably put him on one. You have to heat up his legs or something, but yeah, you might be able to put him on a motorcycle. That's exactly what I want to do, because you can even, I could turn the hand to hold the handlebar and then just have him doing the horns here, but at any rate, as far as his articulation goes, his head will look around. He's got the most head movement out of all of these I have, I think. So he can actually look up, he can look down, he can tilt side to side. You can't look down too much because of his Santa Claus beard, which thanks all you guys saying this guy looks like heavy metal Santa Claus. I can't get that out of my head now. I will say, I think he could have used his shades. I would have liked his biker cap too, but I think if he had his shades, he'd look a little bit more like Rob. I think the likeness is alright, but it is like Super 7 Ultimates-ish in the sense that it's a bit cartoony, which is, again, fine, but, you know, I would rather have the shades. That said, I do have that Joe Satriani Surfing with the Alien figure. I'm curious if his shades would fit on him, because he's not much smaller than he is. But his shoulders will move out, they move forward and back. He's got a single jointed elbow with rotation. Hands will rotate. He's got like Danny Ketch Ghost Rider knuckle dusters there. That's kind of brutal. Rob's a nice guy in real life. I don't know what he needs those for. But he does have a very limited waist swivel. It's there, but it's hindered by his coat. His hips will kick forward and back. He's got a single jointed knee that will rotate, and that's it. You know, standard fare for this line, but it's not terrible. But again, I'd like a more articulated Rob Halford, because even in his old age, he's actually a little bit more I don't want to say agile, but mobile than this. For an old geezer, an old fart. But, yeah, that said, I gotta tell this story, and hopefully this video doesn't get flagged for it, but you know what? Don't care. It's a funny story. So, Sebastian Bach of Skid Row fame, and, well, solo career, and just being known for being, we'll say, difficult to work with, for lack of a better term, was in an interview with some, I don't know, radio station or podcast or something, and they made a joke about Rob Halford of Judas Priest here. They're like, oh, I wonder if he sucks or swallows. And Sebastian Bach walked out because he's like, that's disrespectful. I'm not into that. Which is, you know, pretty cool of him to stand up for Rob Halford like that. But Rob Halford on a later podcast answered the question. He's like, of course I swallow. Because Rob Halford's freaking bass, dude. Like, come on, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So, with that being said, it's time now that we take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Rob Halford of Judas Priest, alongside the godfather of shock rock himself, Alice Cooper, who Judas Priest recently played around my area with. Unfortunately, though, didn't get to see that. Maybe someday I'll get to see Rob Halford pull out on stage on a motorcycle and totally blow the roof off the place. But, you know, the venue I usually go to see concerts to sucks balls lately and hasn't had squat. So, not sure when that's going to happen. But we also have the godfather of heavy metal itself, the late great Ozzy Osbourne, a.k.a. the Prince of Darkness. Although, godfather of heavy metal if you're not me and think that's Ronnie James Dio. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Do you not hear the music playing in the background of all of my videos? Clearly, I'm on Team Dio, but I love Ozzy all the same. And it's kind of cool to have these guys together. I really hope, I think I said this in Rob Zombie video, we get a Lemmy in this line. I hope we get a Dio in this line. I'd like to get some other guys. I'd like to see a King Diamond. I don't know if Super 7's got the monopoly on that license or what. Slayer, Metallica. McFarlane did make Metallica back in the day. Megadeth, whether it's Vic Rattlehead or the band itself. Maybe Scott Ian from Anthrax. I'd like to see the rest of Anthrax, but if we got Scott Ian, that'd be better than nothing. So, you know, my wish list aside, I think these guys look great together. If you're already got a couple of these, you know what to expect. Getting them out of the way so we could bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibolith, right there, and the infamous 11th Spawn, right there, who, I guess, Rob Halford here might actually have Spawn beat for how many little spiky studs he's got on his attire there. So, there's that, I suppose. Well, that being said, as usual, good old Al Simmons towers over everyone, and I think it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I already have a figure of good old Rob Halford of Judas Priest from the fine folks over at Super 7, this one from the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys, I think anyways, is better in almost every facet, because number one, more articulated, number two, better scale. However, I do wish he did have his sunglasses and his biker daddy cap like the Super 7 one has. I know he doesn't always have those things, but I feel like the likeness would have been a little bit better if I had those things. Granted, I don't think the likeness is bad, but a lot of people are calling him heavy metal Santa Claus, and it's kind of hard to get that image out of my head. So, thanks for potentially ruining this figure for me, you jerks. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys